name's Irene Vincent. I wanted to share a story of healing with you, my personal healing. I have different various stories that connect with non-ordinary reality that I've experienced over the years, and I feel by sharing them, it may help you too. I was living in New Mexico at the time. My house had been recently robbed. It was kind of a remote area, Jemez Pueblo. It was next to Jemez Springs. Most people had like 10 to 16 acres, and so there were spaces between the houses. The policeman had told me there were about 45 suspects, which like threw me for a loop. I'm like, well, tell me about a few of them. You know, it could have been this, it could have been your neighbors up the street, the neighbor below you, it could have been possibly the Native Indian children, it could have been teenagers, could have been the last guy who owns your house. And I'm like, whoa. Every time I left my house, then I would have to drive up the dirt road to get back home. My stomach would churn, I'd be really sick, and it was just really painful because I felt violated, and it was like a feeling of being raped. You know, these people went through my house and they stole my Native Indian kachinas, my Hopi kachinas. They stole my carved pottery, and I had prayer feathers that I took with me to sacred sites. They were so beautiful and so special to me, and they were black, blue macaw feathers that had orange hearts in the center, very unique and powerful, and they meant a lot to me. And so I had to release all that. For some reason, that part was over. But anyways, I felt all this pain, and I was feeling really sad one day because I just didn't feel connected to the universe anymore, connected to my heart, because I was now feeling all this fear and sadness, and so I felt disconnected. So I'm sitting there wondering, okay, what can I do to overcome this distrust? And now I didn't feel like I liked the Native Indians anymore because they might have robbed me, or these other people up the street, they were connected to the Indians. You know, I'm praying to God, you know, please help me to come back to my heart and feel love again. Love for these peoples, and just let love flow through my heart. And how can I get to that space when I'm feeling fear and sadness and grief? Sort of forgot about it. Next day I said, okay, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do some plein air painting and look at the mountains and connect with the mountains. And maybe that'll help heal me. So I'm outdoors painting, and this little red sports car pulls up, and this Native Indian says to me, do you know of anyone around here selling any property? And I said, oh, sure. I'm going to be putting mine up for sale in a couple of weeks. Would you like to see it? And then this huge Indian hops out of his car, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's like 6'6". He said he wanted a place also for his horses. So I invited him to come in, and he almost had to like stoop down inside my adobe home. And then I'm thinking, wow, I've invited this gigantic guy into my home. I don't even know who he is, and I'm here alone. And we started talking, and he noticed some of my artwork, and I started talking to him about art and healing. And then we went into my backyard, and he was asking me more questions about healers, and I was telling him stories of my dreams and healing people in my dreams. And he said to me his aunts wanted him to accept his grandfather's medicine bag, and he had been unwilling to accept it, and he wondered what I thought about it. He said it was such a great responsibility. I told him if I were him, I would accept it and just let the magic work, see what happened, that not to take it so seriously, but just to accept it and accept his grandfather's wish. He looked around the yard and everything and said, I'm not quite sure. Let me give this place some thought. Later, this van comes up my street and it pulls in my yard, and then I realized it was him. He said to me, oh, I just want to show you some artifacts, some eagle feathered costumes, and maybe you would like to own one. And I thought, oh my God, I would love to dance in one of these just to feel all the feathers and everything. But I told him that I didn't think white people, non-natives, weren't allowed to own eagle feathers. And he said, well, you wouldn't be owning it. You would have it on loan. You can never sell it. You'd have to give it back to the Indian tribe. And I said, well, first of all, I think they're probably very, very valuable and very expensive, and I don't want to risk owning such an item. He had a beautiful bloodstone pipe, and it had sage wrapped around it, and then a cloth wrapped around it. And he told me it was his personal peace pipe. I had really been looking for a bloodstone pipe. I wasn't going to ask him to sell his pipe. So I just asked him if I could hold it, and it just felt so good. The vibrations were so beautiful. Then he had this suitcase, and he said to me, I would like to show you this. We need a more private place. This is very sacred. And kind of was weird to me. I was like, God, I hope he doesn't have a gun in it. So anyways, I said, come inside here and you can put it on this table. And he put it on the table and he said, Irene, no white person has ever seen this. This is my grandfather's healing case. His healing items are inside. I accepted it after speaking with you. I accepted it from my aunts. They had been watching me for 10 years and wanted me to accept this. And I went back after speaking with you and I accepted it. I want you to see the contents and my grandfather's items. Inside was a medicine bundle. There was twine and there's these little prayer bundles, like cloth wrapped around prayers and tied, and it created these balls of prayers. I was like so moved at seeing that his grandfather had been so dedicated to helping and healing people. He brought out these perfectly round stone balls that had holes in them. He said, these are healing stones that my grandfather used. He started rubbing one on my back. I'm just reliving the whole story. I just started crying, and he's like, oh my God, why are you crying? And I go, well, it's tears of release and tears of healing and joy. I feel like I knew your grandfather. Then he's like going through the case, and there's a newspaper article where it was his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather died February 1st, 1952. There was a little newspaper article. That was the day I was born. It was an obituary for his grandfather, and I said, whoa, oh my God, either I'm your grandfather, or as I was coming onto the earth plane, your grandfather made me promise for you to accept his medicine bag. And I go, so I'm so happy that you did. And at that point, my heart opened. I'd had the healing that I had wished for. The lessons of the story that I want to share with you is that if you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling sad, you're feeling in pain, you just ask the universe with your whole heart and soul, please help me to reconnect to love. Because the universe is love. It always wants to share love with you. It to let the love flow through you and emanate the love, and to get back to that vibration. And so if you ask for help from the universe with your whole heart and soul, and tune into the frequency through that asking, it will come. And there'll be a vision, or you'll meet someone and just reconnect, and you'll have a healing, a natural healing, a natural vision, and it's there for you. Namaste. So much love.